Kansas City Chiefs had a devastating loss in Week 11 in Denver, and now they get to travel back home to take on the Indianapolis Colts. The last time we saw them, they dominated my Falcons in Berlin in Week 10. This is going to be an amazing Week 12 matchup. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down this game, provide our predictions at the very end. So be sure to stay tuned. Leave a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win and why. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button to get notified when new videos come out. We're trying to get to 100 new subscribers this week, and let's see if we can get that in this video alone. And Ryan, great game at Mile High. Chiefs almost pulled it out, but Will Lutz hit a last-second field goal to beat them 22-19, and the Chiefs are 5-5 on the year. On the outside looking in, and they don't hold any tiebreaker. Only tiebreaker they hold against is against Baltimore Ravens, who's the one team below them. They still play the Texans in a couple weeks. They're also 5-5 on the outside looking in as well. So, like, it's like getting into very real territory for the Chiefs, and this game is huge because also too then as well for the Colts can even continue to establish their dominance on the AFC South and try and lock up this division. And coming off a bye after a great victory in Berlin, major playoff implications in general. But the Chiefs, I honestly didn't even think they played that bad. I thought they played pretty good. I knew that this would be a tough game. The Denver defense is legit. They're not going to be going up against one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in the league here in Indianapolis, led by Indiana Jones. But Indianapolis, first overall in total yards offensively, third overall in passing yards, third overall in rushing yards. Jonathan Taylor's performance against my Atlanta Falcons in Berlin definitely helps out those rushing yard numbers, but he's also on an MVP course as well, with his stats. So, and we'll get to that here in a second. But Ryan, want to throw it over to you. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are 5-5, and I'll say this right now. I'm not even trying to kiss ass when I say this to the Chiefs. Sorry, I know it's a family-friendly show, but I'm being very serious when I say this. But if they don't make the playoffs, this might be one of the better teams to not make the playoffs. I mean, they have a top 10 defense. I really like what this offense is playing significantly better throughout this whole year as well, too. Like, however, it's a very real possibility they don't make this playoffs. And I'm not just trying to say that just to say that because I know it's the Chiefs. Please leave a comment down below. But if we're being honest, this Chiefs defense is really good. Like they just held this Broncos offense to a little over 300 yards, and they shut down the running game as well, too. But then even passing-wise, I think Mahomes has been playing overall really well throughout the season. That pick in the red zone was unacceptable, but in general, I thought he played well today, and he has week in and week out. Love the receiver weapons that they have. They really struggled to run the ball, which we'll touch on here in a second. But Ryan, I want to throw it over to you. Do you think that's the case? And also, too, what do you think they have to do to beat the Colts in Week 12?
So what's crazy to me is I actually feel like this Chiefs team this year is better than the Chiefs team last year. Like I think that says a lot more about the Chiefs team last year than it does this year. But
and how everybody choked it away in the AFC last year to give them.
Honestly. Maybe the jerseys were black and white striped at sometimes, but it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah. Whatever.
I'm referring to last year. But
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And so to me, it's kind of crazy that Kansas City is 5-5, but you look, they had a rough start. I think they started 1-3. They're 4-2 in their last 6 games. So like, that's not a bad record, but when you pair that with the start, now you're here at 5-5, and the AFC is very much you're hot or you're not. The gap is kind of closing a little bit. I think you've had Houston and now Baltimore have kind of reinserted themselves into that wild card race, going on a few win streaks here. But all in all, like, yeah, it's kind of crazy that Kansas City is here. Denver is kind of Kansas City last year, where they have now won. They're like 7-2 in 1-score games this year. Which is that's just crazy. But like, this Chiefs team is very talented. They're just not winning on the margins how they were last year. They're costing themselves too much with penalties. Turnovers have killed them in a lot of these games, and like, they've had too many drops. Injuries have started to stack up, especially at times for them. So it's really interesting to see the Chiefs kind of struggle here through the first 2/3 of the season. But I think this is a decent opportunity for them to turn it around against what is considered one of the best teams in the AFC. I think Daniel Jones has shown Like you go look at that Pittsburgh game, if you're able to get pressure on him, that he's a little bit more willing to turn the ball over. With that said, the Chiefs are only 19th in the league in sacks right now, which is not a good sack number. I know they're good overall in terms of like yards allowed statistics, but I think when you go break down the games, they have some really good performances and then they have some not so great performances. So it's a really interesting balance here that the Chiefs are striking. And for the Colts, coming off a bye, they just had a great game in Berlin against your Falcons, where they pulled it out in overtime. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor is just a monster. This offensive line, if you're not on your A game, this offensive line will completely neutralize any pass rush that you have. They will completely blow you off the ball in the run game as well. And so I think it's going to be really interesting to see what Steve Spagnuolo can do against what is one of the better pass protection offensive lines. I know you go look, I think they gave up 6 sacks to the Steelers. They gave up 5 to your Falcons in the last couple of weeks, but that was at the end of a long stretch of games. I think some teams were sending more blitzes against them to try and throw Daniel Jones off the spot. So I'm really curious to see what Spags can do to generate some pressure here on Daniel Jones. And I think ultimately that's what this game will come down to, is not Patrick Mahomes in this offense, but can they slow down can the Chiefs slow down the Colts offense?
Well, it's for me when I look at the Chiefs, and if I go back and look at that Falcons game in Berlin, it's really it went to overtime, and I know the Falcons scored 25 points there, but the Colts really should have honestly dominated that game. They honestly probably could have put 49 up on us. And this is where I think the X factor is going to be, is can Daniel Jones stay poised and composed, especially when you get into the red zone, when the field gets a little bit tighter and there is going to be more opportunity for Spags to send a lot of blitzes at them. Because I really do like, one of the reasons why the Indianapolis Colts offense is one of the best ones in the league is Daniel Jones is able to connect on the deep balls to Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce has gotten himself contracted. Alec Pierce got A.D. Mitchell traded. Well, A.D. Mitchell also might have got A.D. Mitchell traded, but that's a separate story. But in general, though, Alec Pierce has finally come on as that second-round pick that they drafted a couple years ago. He should get a contract extension. But his deep threat, his speed really spreads out this defense. It's going to open things up underneath for Josh Downs, Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman. And then it's going to make that play action, that running game even more. However, if you go look at the Steelers game, if you go look at this Falcons game in Berlin, then as well too, when the Colts started to struggle was when the Falcons actually put Daniel Jones under duress and sent a lot of blitzes at him, make him have to make a quick decision, or maybe have him lose his composure. So for this game for Kansas City, I think if they want to really have a shot here to win this game, it is going to have to be like Chris Jones and that defensive front and that front seven are really going to have to get after the passer, shut them down. You got to shut down Jonathan Taylor too, make them one dimensional, so it makes it easier to go and blitz. Because if they can get into a balanced run rushing attack, that's going to make it really tough. Once again, I feel like I'm calling on like Drew Tranquill, Nick Bolton, Leo Chanel, like all these guys, like the linebacking core is gonna have to play an amazing game, because not only do you have to keep your head on a swivel for the short crossing routes or the play action as well too, you're gonna also, when it is a running play, you got to stop Jonathan Taylor before he gets going, because that's what's crazy. That's what's crazy about this Colts team. And we haven't even talked to about the addition of Sauce Gardner on this Colts team as well, because now I think we're really going to see the benefits of this Colts defense making that trade after when they had a game with him where he played well, shaky, played well, and I think a lot of people would in that new system. Now bye week to prep for it, and then to prep for this one singular game here. I think that's going to be very interesting overall on how the Colts offense attacks this Chiefs defense. And then even too, I want to throw it over to you. What do the Chiefs offense need to do to try and score some points against this Colts defense?
So, real quick to touch on that, Travarius Ward is also, I think, projected to come
He's
back
projected to come back, yes,
in this game as well. So that's a really big. You have 2 corners being added to this pretty good defense that is really good. And I think for me, the big thing on the offensive side of the ball is they can't limit themselves with penalties. Jawan Taylor and Justin Simmons both had multiple penalties in this Broncos game, whether that was holdings or just lining up not lining up properly. And I think for me, that stuff needs to be fixed. Now, some of the holdings were because like they were getting beat and you don't want Nick Benito to, have a free run at Patrick Mahomes because that's not going to end well.
No.
But I think, hopefully Josh Simmons now he has a week under his belt. Hopefully he can get better. And then the other thing too, this Chiefs team does not run the ball well, but with Patrick Mahomes back there, I think this offense can be efficient enough, throwing the ball 65, 70% of the time. And I think honestly, as a Patriots fan, I like Tyquan Thornton. I think he should be on the field for you guys more, stretching the field vertically. And then I think that's going to open things up for you guys with crossers with Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce, Hollywood Brown. And you get the ball in the hands of your speedsters. And I think you can really start gashing some defenses there. So for me, I would go more, what is that? I don't know what personnel grouping that would be, but 4 wide receivers and a tight end with Mahomes and just
Empty
spread out this defense.
empty backfield. I would
Yeah,
say
go
something like
empty.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So yeah, make sure you have Travis Kelce on there because Travis Kelce had a great game today. This is why you still go and keep him because I think there was a lot of emphasis on watching the speed from these receivers, which opened things up for Travis Kelce underneath. And
yeah,
that's what's actually kind of funny too. You go and look at this. It's now Michael Pittman, I wouldn't say is Josh Downs are necessarily speedsters, so to say. But to your point though, the passing game should be pretty similar overall for both the Chiefs and the Colts. If you take that approach of Tyquan Thornton, be like, no, that's our deep ball guy, and then you go spread everything out like with Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, Rashi Rice, and you have Travis Kelce. That might honestly be their best offense because I think the difference in this game is going to be the fact that the Chiefs just cannot run the ball, especially with Pacheco out. But
yeah,
even too with Pacheco in, it's not like anything was super great to begin with. But I still think that what's going to come down to this game here is going to be the poise of Daniel Jones. If they're going to be able to rattle him, they're coming off a bye, and I'm going to change my pick now because I write down all my picks before, but I'm going to change it now. I think he's going to be fine. I he's going to make his mistakes, yes, but I just think this Colts team is too good in
yeah,
general. And the Chiefs team is really good as well too. Like not to take anything away, because as I said at the start of this video, like if they don't make the playoffs, this might be one of the best teams to not make the playoffs. And they have a tough stretch coming in. But I think the Colts go in, they're well rested coming on this one, while the Chiefs just went through a 15-round haymaker boxing match with the Denver
yeah,
Broncos and came out on the wrong side of things. I, I think the Colts win this one, and I think the Chiefs go to 5-6.
yeah, which would be crazy. The other thing too is like I think the Chiefs are very talented. I want to pose this question to Chiefs fans because I'm genuinely curious, like what a Chiefs fan's view of this. Do you guys view your team as like you have talented players, or do you view your team as like one of the best coached teams in the NFL who is able to elevate normal players? Because I look like outside of Mahomes, what other stars do they really have? So Chris Jones is 32, I believe. Travis Kelce is 36. Those guys are on the back end of their careers. And I'm really trying to think to myself, like, what other stars are there on the roster? Because I look at it, and one of the things that, like, the Chiefs of old, I felt really had, like, they had Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce was a star, Chris Jones was a star. They had a really good linebacker room. Who's the corner from Washington?
Trent McDuffie.
Trent McDuffie, he was a star. Where I feel like he's kind of faded into the background now as well. So like I'm really curious if you took Patrick Mahomes off this team, what would the overall talent of this team look like?
Well,
And and
yeah, go
I
ahead.
think that is where the Colts win this game is just the overall talent on their roster. I feel like is just a higher level than the Chiefs right now.
Well, so I mean, I might be able to answer this for Chiefs fans. So I disagree. I think there's a boatload of talent on this Chiefs team, especially now too. You go look at the receiving room. They have one of the Kingsley Suamaitea. I think is the right fit at left guard, but really like Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith at center and right
Yeah,
guard.
that's
Jawan
fair.
Taylor sucks. I think even Chiefs fans, Jawan Taylor sucks. He needs to move on. Sucks is a strong word. Below
Yeah,
average for right tackle. They can use a massive upgrade there. When I've seen Josh Simmons come in, I think he has the potential to be a star left
yeah,
tackle in the league. I'm glad that he's back. I'm glad everything's going well. But no, I think Rashi Rice has superstar capabilities. We've seen it before. He was a
that's
big hit
fair.
when he came in. I think Xavier Worthy has that potential as well too. I think he's definitely Xavier Worthy's more of a number 2, and I think
Yeah.
Rashee Rice is your number 1. But Travis Kelce's still the star. Like as we saw today, Travis Kelce went off for 9 catches, 91 yards. He had 13 targets. He was really the Chiefs' passing game as well. So, and that's the offensive side of the ball as well too. Now, where they're lacking in superstar capabilities is running back room.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt was a superstar for them during his rookie year. I think his sophomore year before everything happened. But then on the flip side, Chris Jones is superstar enough to where I mean, we've seen teams like that where like he is a defensive line, but he elevates everybody else on that line.
Yeah.
But even too, I like their linebacking room as well too with Bolton and Chanel. Maybe we could be really
Yeah.
picky. I like
That's
Trent
fair.
McDuffie. They have a young secondary room, to be fair. Jalen Watson, Jaden Hicks, Brian Cook, Trent McDuffie, and Chamari Connor were all drafted in 2022 or later. So they're younger, but I think they're all still playing extremely well. They've compared to that Chiefs defense from a couple years ago when they won the Super Bowl when they were
We're not
awful.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, then they made
Yeah.
major steps forward, and then I think this year once again too. I think the big thing for the Chiefs, though, if we go and look at it, they lose by 6 points to the Chargers in Brazil, lose by a field goal to the Eagles. They lose by a field goal to the Jags, and the Jags played a really good game in that one. But there were opportunities for the Chiefs to win that one. Opportunities to beat the Bills on the road. But it's like all of their losses. Uh, the Chargers technically a home game. Technically, it was in Brazil, so it's a neutral site game. They lost to the Eagles at home, but that's still the Eagles, though. But then their other 3 losses were one-score losses on the road, where a couple plays go the wrong way. Like
Yeah.
I still
That's
think
fair.
they have. This is why I take the approach though, where like it, and then they're going up against a Colts team who is clicking. Things are going their way. And I think they also found a quarterback that can manage the system. I just think I think it's just that type of season for the Chiefs. Well, last
Yeah,
year,
where it's just the cards are not falling their way.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
last year when they shouldn't have made the Super Bowl, and they shouldn't have gone 14-3 or 15-2, whatever they went, and they honestly should have gone whatever their record's going to be this year. It's what they should have gone because they might win 10 games. Like that's going to be we're looking at best case scenario, but that's a tough road to get to 10 games now. Uh, that's what the record should have been last year, and that would have
Yeah.
been much more understandable. I think if to me, Chiefs fans, if I'm you, I look at how great my team is and be like, we just can't win the big games. That's just the issue. All the games we've lost have just been to
Yeah.
legit playoff and Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, and that's totally fair. And to be fair, you're the AFC representative. You're going to have a tough schedule the
Yeah.
next year, but you also look their division got a lot better this offseason. So I'm just like, and the reason I posed that question specifically is sustaining the amount of talent that they've had on this team, like over the last 5 years, is incredibly hard to do. And so I'm really curious, like if Chiefs fans feel like there's enough talent on this team to go and win a lot of these games.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thought I had watching the game today.
So it just to pose a question at you though, like because you're saying, is there enough talent on this team here?
Yeah.
Like all their losses have been by one score or less.
Yeah. But
If literally 2 plays in each of these games go differently,
yeah,
they're a 10-0 team, and you're not asking that question.
that's fair.
It's football's a game of inches, and just those inches have not been going. It went the way last year for them, and now this year it's not going that way for them.
But so
That's what I think it is.
to also kind of support what I'm asking is, are the reason why those games are so close is because this is just one of the best coach teams in the NFL. They don't put themselves in situations where they really beat themselves a lot and give the other team opportunities to blow them out, and they're always in every single game. And then outside of some Patrick Mahomes heroics, are these games are is the talent gap in these games wider than this score would actually project?
I mean, I think the answer is yes to both of those. Like, like I I I I think you're looking at their record and saying they're a 5-5 team. Well, then at the same time though, too, I go look at a team like the Bears, who's 7-3, who have played the same amount of
Yeah,
games, but I think they could easily be 3-7. There's talent on that
that's
team,
fair.
yes, but at the same time though, too, they're you go look at their games and we already broke it down. They have 4 or 5 games that were like literally one play change game. Like they blocked the field goal against the Raiders, that was a chip shot. the Commanders were going to win that game, but they fumbled it and then gave the ball back to the Bears as well
Yeah.
too. If I go back,
Yeah.
let me pull up their schedule here, because there were a couple other ones too. The Commanders,
That's fair.
The Bengals was the wildest game. They had scored 2 touchdowns in 4 minutes to beat the Giants, and then today they had to have a last second field goal against the Vikings. Like they haven't beaten
Yeah.
anybody as well. Now, I guess you can maybe make a fair argument that no, I take that back. The Chiefs have beaten teams. Chiefs dominated a Lamar Jackson led Ravens team. That was when the Ravens weren't really playing great. They dominated
Yeah.
the Lions on
And
Sunday Night
injuries
Football.
started to really pile up.
But yeah,
Same with the Lions in the secondary there.
yeah. I I
So,
I
and I'm
would
not trying
much
to make
rather.
excuses in those games. It's just like
The,
what I
the,
remember from those.
no, I know. This is the Chiefs team, how I see it, from when they were winning Super Bowls a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and when they were the best team in the league. They're just not. They're just the games just aren't going their way. If we're
Yeah.
being honest, are they beating themselves in certain spots? That's a fair argument. Are they doing that? But if we're talking about talent on the field, well coached, I would put them up there as one of the best with this roster from what I'm seeing on the field. They just are struggling to win the games, and teams go through that sometimes. Like
Yeah.
we're recording this during Sunday Night Football, and we're looking at the Eagles here too. And the Eagles, to me, even like this, what I'm seeing from them, like their offensive struggles that they're having, the defense is playing great. It reminds me a lot of the 2024 Chiefs, if we're being honest. Like I don't think
Yeah.
they're playing the brand of football that they want or that they think that they can. I don't think any of us see that either. Yet they're finding ways to win the games, and they're not beating
Yeah.
themselves. While the Chiefs, like they beat themselves on a couple of plays a game. Other than that, they play close to perfect or really well at least. And but that's the difference in these tight knit games.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is. So
Yeah. I'm just curious on Chiefs fans' perspective on the team right now. So,
yeah,
with that said, let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this video here. We are both taking the Colts in this one. So if you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. If you guys have not, or oh yeah, while you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the Colts? Will it be the Chiefs? And on that, we'll see you guys next time.